I think you kind of, it's a great segue into the question, given that Al Udeid Air Base is the biggest U.S. military installation in the region. So the Iranian response was not unexpected. A matter of fact, in recent weeks, many of the base's aircraft and personnel have been evacuated. So, and I apologize, I should have turned off my phone. But
no worries. A lot of people seeking your expertise, I'm sure, General.
Well, what we saw from Iran is a calculated face-saving move. It's not a serious military escalation. Supposedly, they fired the same number of missiles as we dropped bombs, but there was no damage caused, no casualties, and they even gave gutter advance warning. And so what I'd share with you is that's not warfighting, that's theater. They're trying to save face. Now the question becomes, what's the next step? I would tell you the United States to date has already achieved its objective. I mean, we struck Iran's nuclear infrastructure with precision and professionalism, and now is the time to exercise some strategic restraint. Because by not escalating further, we reinforce our dominance and demonstrate that our actions were about security, not vengeance. Although there's still a lot of runway out ahead of what's going to happen in this particular operation. But the other piece, I think, and forgive me because I haven't been watching, but I understand that Saudi Arabia has now come out and really scolded Iran for their actions, as has Qatar and UAE. So that's pretty game-changing in the context of now Iran has got all the GCC states essentially coalesced together in decrying their actions, and it's putting Iran in a box. So I think it's just a matter of time before hopefully the Iranian mullahs see the errors in their ways and do what's in the best interest of their people, and that is to halt their aspirations for building nuclear weapons and move on to an option that would see peace and security established in the region.
General, you were with us just less than a week ago talking about the run-up to this actual event happening with the U.S. surging an enormous amount of resources, military equipment and personnel into the region. We still have a third carrier strike group that's on its way. And as someone who's spent hundreds of hours in the cockpit of a combat aircraft, I wonder your thoughts on how long we can keep this level of presence in a crouched position in the Middle East and the risks that come with doing so.
Well, it's a great question. First, let me just highlight and add with what I'm sure you've heard a lot of people say, but I got to tell you, the air attacks on Saturday, deserve an A+ in terms of performance. And by the way, not just the air crews that participated, but the folks in the entire CENTCOM planning staff and the U.S. National Security Team. I mean, the operation security and the deception that was pulled off and executed is just spectacular. There's no other way to say it. Now, the other point that I will add is this is an extraordinarily difficult mission to plan and execute, but all the people that participated made it look easy. But we have to remember it was actually very, very complex and dangerous. Now, back to answering directly your question. Look, we've been in the region since 1991. People tend to forget that. It wasn't just 9/11 when we started this. We've had aircrew members flying no-fly zone operations since the end of Operation Desert Storm. So we've been there a long time. And we've demonstrated that we can project power. But there is something behind the scenes that people generally are not aware of. And what's not evident in this magnificent air combat performance is if we had to do it again today or tomorrow or even in a week or for a sustained period of time, we couldn't. That's because the United States Air Force today is the oldest, the smallest, and the least ready it's been in its history. What your audience might not know is that the United States only has 19 B-2s. They're all over 30 years old. And the B-52, our largest bomber force element, just celebrated the 73rd birthday of its first flight. So what you saw unfold on Saturday was about the maximum operational stealth bomber force that could be generated in a one-day attack. And at the same time, we expended over half of the GBU-57 weapons inventory. So the Air Force is in a force structure and weapons inventory crisis, and it needs to be rebuilt if America wants to retain and grow this capability to perform more than a one-and-done operation in the future.
Well, that's fascinating context, and we appreciate it as we consider that aspect of U.S. capability in our final 90 seconds here, General. What about Iran and Israel's capability to keep this going in a sustained way? At what point do we reach the point in which they cannot continue volleying at each other with the same velocity?
It's just a matter of time. Israel is winning. They are changing the calculus in the region by putting Iran in a box, by halting their means of aggression, and quite frankly, our U.S. security objectives align with theirs in this regard after our successful attacks. We're now full partners. Now, what that also, it doesn't mean that we've got to enter into a supposed forever war like those we got involved in Iraq and Afghanistan. This is a different set of circumstances, and they're applying precision air and space power to prevent Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons. It's going to work, and this is going to be over. One can't tell exactly when, but they will succeed.